Hello to all. I, Dr. Pradeep Kumar Srivastava, welcome to all of you in my class, Water Resources Engineering. Dear boys, today the topic of multiple cropping and hybrid crop. Hybrid crop, today we will discuss how farmer can be done multiple cropping and hybrid cropping. So, what is the objective of multiple cropping and hybrid crop? In agriculture, multiple cropping or multicropping is the practice of growing two or more crops in the same piece on land during on growing season instead of just one crop. When multiple crops are grown simultaneously, this is also known as intercropping. So, what is the multiple crop? So, this cropping system helps farmers double their crop to productivity and income, but the selection of two or more crop for the practicing multi-cropping mainly depend on the mutual benefit of the selected crop. Thereby, threshing can be difficult in multiple cropping system where crop are harvested together. It can take the form of double cropping, in which in a second crop is the plant after the first has been harvested in the Garhwal Himalaya of India. A practice called baranaja involves sowing 12 more crops on the same plot, including various types of beans, grains, and millets, and harvesting them at different times due to this multiple cropping become more prevalent in Asian countries. So we will discuss again what is the introduction of this crop. Plant breeding in the art of science of changing the traits of the plant in order to produce desired characteristics. Plant breeding can be accomplished through many techniques, ranging from simply selecting plant with the desirable characteristic for the propagation to more to complex cultivation. Hybrid are commonly produced and selected because they have desirable characteristics not found or constantly present in the parent individual of the population. In the individual of the population, the hybridization used in the develop new type of the animal and plant with the high resistance, high productivity, and the lifelong and these are the quality of hybrid plant and animal. Clear? Sandini, Asian Bashra, Jamnapari, and an example of hybrid variety of animals. So, usually, Srijava, Subra, the Ont are the example of plant. Now we study about the some of the hybrid plant with their example. And now we will discuss multiple cropping. In agriculture, multiple cropping is the practice of growing two or more crops in the same piece of land during a single growing season. It is form of polyculture. It is the practice of intensification of the cropping system in the time and the space dimensions, that is a more number of crops within a year and more number of crops in the same piece of land. So we will see on that screen. Now,
hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel Life Science with KMD. Today I'm going to explain about multiple cropping system. Multiple cropping. In agriculture, multiple cropping is a practice of growing two or more crops in the same piece of land during a single growing season. It is a form of polyculture. It is the practice of intensification of cropping system in time and space dimension, that is more number of crops within a year and more number of crops in the same piece of land. There are three different types of multiple cropping system. One is sequential cropping, second is the intercropping, third one is multi-storied cropping. Sequential cropping, growing two or more crops in sequence on the same field per year. Succeeding crop is planted after the preceding one has been harvested. Crop intensification is only in the time of dimension. There is no intercrop competition. Farmers manage only one crop at a time. There are four types of sequential cropping. First one is double cropping. Here growing two crops in a year. Example is cowpea and bajra, or it could be green gram and jawar. Second one is triple cropping. Here growing of three crops in a year has been observed. In case example is that rice, potato, groundnut, or cowpea, mustard, and jute. Next is quadruple cropping. Here, four crops are grown in a year. Example is maize, toria, potato, and wheat, or it could be green gram, maize, toria, and wheat. Fourth one is ratoon cropping or stable cultivation. In here, the cultivation of stable wheat growth after harvest of the crop has been observed. Example is sugarcane or mulberry. Intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field per year. Crop intensification is in both time and space dimension. There is intercrop competition during all or part of the crop growth. Farmers manage more than one crop at a time in the same field. Types of intercropping. First one is mixed intercropping. We are growing two or more crops simultaneously with no distinct row and arrangement. Example is wheat, mustard, or it could be fodder maize and fodder coffee. Row intercropping. Growing one or two crops or one or more crops simultaneously within one or more crop planted in the row. Example is cotton plus chili or groundnut and maize. Strip intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously in different strips wide enough to permit independent cultivation but narrow enough for the crop to interact agronomically. Example is corn and alfalfa or ragi and groundnut. Fourth one is relay intercropping or overlapping crops, growing two or more crops simultaneously during part of each one's life cycle. A second crop is planted after the first crop has reached its reproductive stage of growth, but before it is ready for harvest. Example is cereal and pulses, or it could be potato and wheat. Fifth is ally cropping. Ally cropping is planting row of trees at a wide space with a companion crop grown in the ally way between the rows. Ally cropping can diversify farm income, improve crop protection, and provide protection and conservation benefit to the crop. Example is silver oak and ragi. Lay farming. It is a system of rotating crop with legume or grass pasture to improve soil structure and fertility and to disrupt pest and disease life cycle. It has been practiced in many parts of the world for centuries. Example is grass and stylosanthus. Multi-story cropping, growing the plant of different height in the same field at the same time is termed as multi-storied cropping. It is the practice of different crops of varying height and rooting pattern and duration to cultivate together. It is mostly practiced in orchid and plantation crop. Advantage of multiple cropping. With multiple cropping, the risk of total loss from drought, pest, and disease is reduced. Some of the crop can survive and produce a yield. It gives maximum production from small plot. This can help farmer cope with land shortage. Include legume in the cropping pattern helps maintain soil fertility by fixing nitrogen in the soil. Different types of crops can be produced, thereby providing a balanced diet for the family. Because of high planting density, weeds are suppressed, efficient use of resources available. Now, what are the disadvantages of multiple cropping? Because of year-long crop, from some pest can shift from one crop to another. Large number of different crops in the same field makes it difficult to weed. New technologies such as row planting, modern weeding tools, and improved varieties may be difficult to introduce. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel.
Now we will discuss type of multiple cropping. So, sequential cropping, intercropping, and multi-storied cropping. What is the sequential cropping? Dear boy, growing two or more crop in sequences on the same field per year. The succeeding crop is planted after the preceding one has been harvested. Okay, clear? So crop intensification is only in the time of dimension. Think that growing two or more crop in the sequences on the same field per year, the succeeding crop is planted after the preceding one has been harvested. One has been harvested. So crop intensification is only in the time dimensions. There is no intercrop competition. Farmer manage only one crop at a time. Farmer, there is no crop. There is no intercrop competition. farmer manage only one crop at a time. Now, to type of sequential cropping, first double cropping, growing of two crop in a year. Think that suppose chopia, bajra, green gram and jowar. It is the only two crop in a year. Duration 4 months, 4 months, but triple cropping, growing of three crop in a year. That is rice, potato, groundnut, chopia, and mustard and jute. Think that, my dear boy, when he had started to cropping at the month of July, he had started from the rice, and when the time of harvesting of rice, he had grown the seed of the mustard, gram. So this is the system when it's clearing second hand generating. And quadruple cropping means growing the four crop in a year. I think you are understanding. This is joke, but it is not joke. It is serious. Thereby, quartering cropping, growing of the four crop in a year, and that is maize, toria, potato, wheat green, gram, maize, toria, and wheat. The four crop that is uh, our first combination: maize, toria, potato, wheat, green, and green gram, maize, toria, wheat. This is the cycle. So, proton cropping, suitable cultivation, and cultivation stable the regrowth after the harvest of the crop, that is the sugar cane and mulberry. Okay, clear? Now, what we will discuss about the intercropping. My dear boy, what is intercropping? So, growing two or more crop simultaneously, one the same field per year. This is the intercrop. Two or more crop simultaneously on the same field per year. And crop intensification with the both time and the space dimensions. There is a intercrop competition during all of the part of crop growth. There is intercrop competition during all of the part of crop growth. Farmer manage more than one crop at a time in the same field. So, type of the intercropping. So, my dear boy, mixed intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously with no strict row arrangement, that is wheat plus mustard, fodder, maize, fodder, chocolate. This is growing two or more crops simultaneously with no distinct row arrangement. Wheat plus mustard plus fodder, maize, and fodder, chocolate. So, a row intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously with one or more crop planted in row, that is cotton, chili, groundnut, and maize. Okay, clear? Row intercropping, growing two or more crop simultaneously with one or more crop plant in the row, that is cotton plus chili, ground, groundnut plus maize. Now we will discuss the strip intercropping. Dear boy, strip intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously in different strips, wide enough to permit independent cultivation, but narrow enough for crop to interact agronomically, that is corn plus alfalfa plus ragi or and groundnut. This is called strip intercropping. Roll two or more crop simultaneously in different strip. What is different strip? In the photograph, you can see this. This is a strip, and we are using strip alternate. If one strip is cut, then second crop are ready. Clear? Now, dear boy, relay intercropping, overlapping cropping, growing two or more crop simultaneously during part of each one's life cycle. A second crop is planted after the first crop has reached its reproductive stage growth, but before it's ready for harvest, that is the rice, pulses, potato, and wheat. My dear one, think when you have throw the seed of rice, the plant the rice in your field at the time of July. In the during after that 90 days, he is ready, being ready to harvest. In October and November, he is ready to harvest. Now what is seen, the pulses plant, potato and wheat. For on that land, you can take. So this is called relay intercropping over overlapping. Now LY, sorry, LA cropping. LA cropping is planting rows of trees at wide spacing with the companion crop grown in the alleyway between the row. Alley cropping can diversity from income, improve crop production, and provide protection and the conservation benefit to crop that is silver back ragi. My dear boy, when you have huge land on the tree, so high quantum of land is free. On that land, if you are using for the LA cropping, the crop will be also very strong. Why? Actually, root of plant are increasing in the high speed, water and minerals. And after that, it improved. The crop also improved. So this is the LA cropping. Now leaf forming. Dear boy, leaf forming is a system of rotating crop with ligma or glass moisture to improve soil structure and fertility and to disrupt pest and disease lifestyle. It has been preceded in the many part of the world of the century that is grass and established. Hereby, if there is a land, so basic there is available the water, but only you are growing rice, rice. So intensity in the sometime will be low of the land. So it will be better to take farming is the changing method. Now multi-story cropping. Growing plant of different height in the same field at the same time is termed as the multi-story cropping. It is the practice of different crop of varying height, fruiting pattern, and the duration to cultivation together. It is mostly plantation crop. Okay, clear? Growing multi-story means layering. Growing plant of different height in the same field, the same time, term and multi-story cropping. One plant is the higher, second plant in the lower, and other second plant is the total on the ground. So this is called, my dear boy, multi-story cropping. It is the practice of different crop of varying height, rooting, pattern, and duration to cultivate together. It is mostly practiced plantation crop.
दोस्तों मिक्स क्रॉपिंग ये है कि जब दो या दो से अधिक क्रॉप को आप किसी पर्टिकुलर फील्ड में ग्रो करते हैं और आप कोई भी फिक्स्ड रेशियो या कोई रो पैटर्न प्लांट का फॉलो नहीं करते हैं तो उसे आप दोस्तों बोलते हैं मिक्स क्रॉपिंग। अब ये जो रो पैटर्न जो फॉलो नहीं होता है वो किस कारण से दोस्तों, क्योंकि आप इसमें ब्रॉडकास्टिंग मेथड यूज करते हैं सीड्स को स्कैटर करने के लिए फील्ड पर। दोस्तों ये ड्राईलैंड एरिया में ज्यादा फॉलो किया जाता है, ये सस्टेनेंस फार्मिंग होती है दोस्तों। सस्टेनेंस फार्मिंग के अंदर आता है, इसका मतलब कि आप जो इसमें क्रॉप जो ग्रो कर रहे हैं वो सिर्फ आप फैमिली नीड्स के लिए ग्रो कर रहे हैं, कोई एक्स्ट्रा या सरप्लस क्रॉप आपको यील्ड नहीं मिल रही है जिससे कि आप फार्म इनकम आपकी इंक्रीज हो। सिर्फ फैमिली नीड्स के लिए आप जो है मिक्स क्रॉपिंग करते हैं दोस्तों। नेक्स्ट बात करें तो मिक्स क्रॉपिंग के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या है दोस्तों, उनको देख लीजिए एक बार। सबसे पहली बात कि आपने इसमें दो या दो से अधिक क्रॉप अगर आपने ग्रो की है तो सबसे पहला फैक्टर कि आपने क्रॉप फेल्योर जैसे प्रॉब्लम को इरेडिकेट कर दिया। सेकंड, जो फूड एंड फॉडर का कंपटीशन उसको आपने कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया। फार्मर्स के दोनों ही सेटिस्फाई हुए, फूड भी मिल गया, फॉडर भी मिल गया उसको अपने एनिमल्स के लिए जो उसने डोमेस्टिकेट किए हैं। थर्ड जो दोस्तों कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है वो ये है कि इंटरक्रॉपिंग इवॉल्व हुआ है मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग से। मतलब इंटरक्रॉपिंग एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट है मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग का, क्योंकि मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग में दोस्तों आप किसी भी डेफिनेट रेशियो या डेफिनेट रो पैटर्न का प्लांट का उसको आप फॉलो नहीं करते हैं, बट इंटरक्रॉपिंग में क्या है वो आप फॉलो करते हैं। वो भी मैं आपको बताऊंगा एक पेज में रफली तरीके जो आप बहुत अच्छे तरीके समझ जाएंगे, दो टर्म्स को ध्यान में रखते हुए। नेक्स्ट जो बात करेंगे दोस्तों ये है कि लॉ ऑफ फ्रिंजेस है जिन्होंने साइंटिफिक स्टडीज की 1928 में सबसे पहले की थी, और यही वो है जिन्होंने साइंटिफिक स्टडी की इस टॉपिक के बारे में और इन्होंने इसके कैरेक्टर्स को डिस्क्राइब किया। दोस्तों अब थोड़ा सा इसका ये देखिए पिक्चर आप दोस्तों, ये देखिए कोई भी अरेंजमेंट नहीं है इसमें, कहीं क्रॉप के प्लांट है कहीं कुकुम्बर का प्लांट है, तो इसमें कोई चीज रेशियो नहीं है ना ही कोई तो अरेंजमेंट है प्लांट का। इसे आप बोलते हैं दोस्तों मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग। दोस्तों अगर आपको समझ में आया क्या है मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग क्या है, वीडियो लाइक जरूर कर दीजिएगा। क्या सब्सक्राइब।
Now we will see advantage multiple cropping. Now we will see advantage multiple cropping. With multiple cropping, the risk of total loss from drought, pest, and disease is reduced. Some of the crop can survive and produce a yield. So with multiple cropping, the risk of total loss from drought, pest and disease is reduced. Some of the crops can survive and produce a yield. Okay, clear? Some crop can survive and produce a yield. They have given in enough quantum and it gives maximum production from small plot. This can help farmer crop with land shortage, including language in the cropping pattern, help to maintain soil fertility by fixing nitrogen in the soil. Now, different type of crops can be produced thereby providing a balanced type for the family. Think that it is very important. Different type of crop can be produced, thereby providing a balanced diet for the family. Because of high planning density, weak or surplus, and efficient use of resources available. Now, disadvantage multiple cropping. This because of now you have read advantage. So we will discuss what is the disadvantage of the multiple cropping. Because every station good living with the bad. Okay. So because of year long crop, some pest can shift from one crop to another. Now, the large number of different crops in the field make it difficult to weed, and new technology such as now planting modern weeding tools and improved. Very may be difficult to introduce. Okay, clear? Now we'll discuss what is the hybrid plant. Characteristic of hybrid plant. Hybrid plant have high resistance. Hybrid plant have high yielding capacity. Okay, why? Any boy? Actually, size is also increasing in the case of hybrid. So this cause yield will be more. Hybrid plant have high yielding capacity and hybridized plant have high productivity. Hybridized plant have lifelong example brinjal, ladyfinger, chili, paddy, tomato, etc. Hybrid plant of paddy. This is, my dear boy, see, this is a hybrid plant. Now, hybridized rice is any genealogy of the rice produced by cross breeding different kind of rice. As with other type of hybrids, hybrid rice are typically displayed. Now, heterosize, such that when it is the crown under the some condition as compatible, high yielding inbred rice, various it can be produced up to 30%. It can produce up to 30% of more in rice. Clear? Now paddy. High yield crop like hybrid rice are one of the most important tools for combating world food crisis. Example, IR8, Jaya, Jyoti, Aswati. This is hybrid variety of chili. You can see in this picture. This is the hybrid variety of chili. Its sizes and its quantum are more. Yield is especially high from without hybrid. Now chili. Chili, widely used as the vegetable and spices, is an often cross-polluted crop. It is also known as hot pepper. Example, KT1, solar hybrid, hybrid 2, Jwalamukhi and Jwalamukhi, solar hybrid and Jwalamukhi and Jwalasakhi. Hybrid variety of brinjal. You have seen country brinjal, which is small, but hybrid brinjal, which look very big. No brinjal, BT brinjal, the first generally modified food crop has generated in India. BT brinjal give higher profit, go to the man, The seeds can be reused. It saves cost of purchasing fresh seed, and the BT brinjal high yield would smell greater, economics stable, and marry the financial problem. So what example? Surya, Swetha, Partha, and this is the name of the brinjal. So hybrid variety of the tomato. You can see, my dear boy, you can see this is the normal, this is the hybrid variety of tomato. Now we'll discuss on tomato. Tomato production is increased considerably in the recent past with greenhouse production. The tomato is a population with both small and large scale farmer. For its edible fruit, both for export and exemption. Example, Sakti Mukhi or Akha Anna. Example of the tomato, sorry, potato, tomato. Hybrid verify of rubber. Dear boy, this is the rubber tree, and how rubber has made the milk of tree has stored in a place, and after that rubber has made. You can see in this picture. Now the polymer blends have been a great interest, particularly last 2 decades or so. First, the factor then have flooded this interest or cost of the time associated with the development of new polymers and the availability of tiller property by bleeding, which may result in the new accessory enable RR 11 minus 1.05 RR 11 minus 300 RR 700. This is the hybrid variety of the cucumber. This is the normal and this is the hybrid variety. So cucumber, hybrid variety of cucumber given high yield, and there are different variety of the cucumber present in that field, and also their disease resistance. The different varieties of cucumber are Ruby hybrid, Gemini hybrid, China long cucumber, and Arumina, etc. This is hybrid variety of pea. This is pea, hybrid variety. Now, pea plant is also known as a small spherical seed or seed pod or the pod fruit. So, the pod contains several seed of peas. There are so many varieties of the garden pea. They are mainly Alaska, Todd, Tumb, Zebra, Segra, etc. They are highly yielding variety and the resistance. This is hybrid variety of coconut. So we'll see again Coconut also, this is the
In
multiple
agriculture,
programming.
multiple cropping is the practice of growing two or more crops in the same piece of land during a single growing season. It is a form of polyculture. It can take the form of double cropping, in which a second crop is planted after the first has been harvested, or relay cropping, in which the second crop is started amidst the first crop before it has been harvested. A related practice, companion planting, is sometimes used in gardening and intensive cultivation of vegetables and fruits. One example of multi-cropping is tomatoes plus onions plus marigold. The marigolds repel some tomato pests. Multiple cropping is found in many agricultural traditions. In the Garhwal Himalaya of India, a practice called baranaja involves sowing 12 or more crops on the same plot, including various types of beans, grains, and millets, and harvesting them at different times. In the cultivation of rice, multiple cropping requires effective irrigation, especially in areas with a dry season. Rain that falls during the wet season permits the cultivation of rice during that period, but during the other half of the year, water cannot be channeled into the rice fields without an irrigation system. The Green Revolution in Asia led to the development of high-yield varieties of rice, which required a substantially shorter growing season of 100 days, as opposed to traditional varieties, which needed 150 to 180 days. Due to this, multiple cropping became more prevalent in Asian countries.
Dear boy, so we are discussing on the coconut. The coconut tree is the major crop in the Kerala. So most coconut plants are categorized as old tree. It grow a various environment, certain environment condition. The coconut farming give high volume of the production. Example, PB 121, China 1, TX and DXT. Conclusion. Through the study, we can learn about the different type of hybrid plant and their special feature. With example, the hybrid plant will give more yielding and result to us, and the plant has the capacity of high productivity, high resistance, and life long. So this is MCQ, and you have to reply a multi-purpose reservoir in the one with the. So what is answer? Answer is the B, plant and the constructed to serve. Now a rain gauge should preferably I fixed where? Answer C. What is it? It can in open. Now a rippling graven is aligned where? Pointing upstream. This is the answer. Now hybridic scheme pertaining under a reed of 80-meter well. What is correct answer? Tell me. This is the high head scheme, and land is known was waterlogged. So capillary research to the root zone of the plant. A heterograph is a spherical representation. Means answer. Tell me. Rainfall intensity at the time. Heterograph. Or now, if 70% of index of weatherness means what is? Answer B. Rain deficiency at the 30%. Now a deep well means answer B has more discharge than a shallow well. And a current meter is used to measure the what is, tell me? Answer A, velocity of flow of water. And now a divide wall is the provided, what is the correct answer? At right angle to the axis of wear. This is the right angle. So my dear boy, we have discussed about the multiple cropping. This is the reference site and this is the reference books. Thank you for attending my class. So we will meet again tomorrow. Thanks again.